Okay, so we're back to our Shlom Bait class, only for men. We went off yesterday that what? We have to fulfill the wife emotionally. If not, you're gonna end up spending a lot of money. Meaning she's gonna ask for expensive things. Why? She wants to show, or she wants to be shown. She wants to see if she's important in your life. But this thing is very short-lived. These physical, things that you're going to buy her, bag, bracelet, shoes, this, that, these are all very short-lived. And little do we know that for a couple of dollars, or even a couple of minutes, we can enlighten our wife, in a way that, for instance, give example today. I brought some flower. Actually, I didn't buy flowers this week because the kids went to a wedding on Thursday, and they brought some flowers. They brought roses, schmoses, okay, whatever. So we put, it looked very nice. So this morning before going to shul, I took one rose, went to the back, opened her car, put it on the dashboard, closed the car, and went to the shul. Right? It took me what? Maybe 2 minutes to do it. Why? Sends a house, beautiful, so cute. Yeah? And what did I write? I said, only thinking about you always. For them, this is more than $1,000 pair of shoes or, whatever, vacation. Why? My husband thinks about me. In the morning, I go into my car and he thinks about it. What did it cost me? $0. I didn't even buy the flowers, from the whatever. Yeah, but I'm saying, took me 2 minutes. These little things, show the woman that what? My husband is connected to me. You understand? And if he's connected to me, I'm happy. If he's not connected to me, if he's disconnected to me, I'm not happy. And therefore, all the things that we might do during the day as far as working and bringing the money and going shopping for her and this and that you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the general family. And I'm not a general family. I'm a special part in your heart. I'm a special person in your heart. Only me. You hear? And not my kids, not my daughter, not my wife. Only me. Unfortunately, they're selfish in this respect. Okay, we got to give it to them. Because that's what motivates them. That's what gives them the energy to continue day after day to do what they have to do. Now imagine I did this, right? Cost me nothing. Imagine now today she's thinking, okay, I gotta do something special for him. When he comes home, I gotta cook something for him. I gotta do whatever. I want to do for my husband. Why? He did for me. I feel good. He made me feel good. I want to make him feel good. Now on the reverse, imagine we don't do this, and we don't make her feel good, and we don't treat her nice. You know what she's thinking? I want to do the same thing to him. I want him to suffer as well, and therefore, when he comes home, I'm going to look dead. They feel dead, by the way. But I'm going to look dead. I can't. I'm sorry. I didn't cook anything today. I just have no power. Of course, she's not going to have power. But over here, even though she might be tired, because what you did to her this morning, she's not going to be tired. She's going to make sure she's going to do whatever she has to do in order to make you feel good when you come home. Why? Because you make me feel good. And like this, constantly, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on some type of basis, you gotta keep her in suspense. You gotta keep her in, surprise. Last week, on a Sunday, I did the heart. Remember with the petals I sent out, I don't know, should I send this out now? I don't want to be a burden to the guys, because there's a lot of guys there. But you know what? If they don't think from their head, maybe somebody's got to push them to do it. She doesn't know that somebody pushed you, so just copy paste. That's it. Copy paste.
That's the idea.
It's an idea, yeah. Do so. It doesn't have to cost you money to make her happy. It does not. And most of the time, it's the cheap thing that makes her happy. Why? Because it's a thoughtful thing. Okay, so let's continue with our book, Happily Married by Rav Zamir Cohen. He says over here, in the years when telephone tokens were commonly used as public phones, we don't have that anymore, yeah? Remember the outside phones? One could buy them in supermarkets as well. One store manager couldn't help notice that a certain gardener would come in every 2 months, buy 20 tokens at a time, and then make one call after another until he had used them all up. Strange. He buys 20, call after call after call after call, until all the 20 were used. One time, the manager couldn't help overhearing the gardener, whose opening lines were identical with each other. He spoke hoarsely, and his speech went like this. Hello, I'm a professional gardener looking for work. Does your building need good gardeners? I am very thorough, dependable, and have excellent recommendations from past customers. If you already have a gardener, I will charge 20% less than what he charges you. Yeah? The manager could hear his voice on the other end, invariably turning down his offer. Says, no, thank you, we don't need. We have an excellent gardener, and all the neighbors of the building are very satisfied with his work. He's worth every penny he takes. So basically he's asking for a job. They're telling him, we don't need. Yeah? This dialogue repeated itself 20 times, each with a rebuff. All the customers were happy with their own gardener. So like that, he called everybody, yeah? Called this building, called that building, called this building, called that. And every time he would get, no, sorry, we're very happy with our gardener. The manager's heart went out to the poor fellow who wasn't getting anywhere and decided to employ him in his own garden, even though he enjoyed the work and usually did it himself. So this person, manager, used to do his own gardening. So he says, you know what, he doesn't have a job. Let me make him a gardener in my house. He turned to the man and said, I couldn't help hearing you, that you're looking for a gardening work. I have a small garden and could use someone like you. Could you come and give me an estimate? The gardener looked at him and smiled. I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but I have a full schedule and can't take on any new customers. He says, I can't take any new customers. He says, the manager looked at him in utter surprise. But I heard you making call after call asking for work. He chuckled, he smiled. He says, no, I'm not looking for new customers at all. The people I just called are already my clients. I'm their gardener. But I never hear a word of goodness from them. I never hear them say, you're so good, you do such a good job. Yeah? They don't even recognize my voice. They just leave my pay in the mailbox and I have no contact with them. I call them just to hear good words about my work. It feels nice to hear that I'm appreciated, that I'm worth the money that they pay me, and that they wouldn't think of hiring someone else, even if it would save them money. You hear what he's doing? He's working for them. Yeah, do you need a gardener? No. We're very happy with our gardener. He's worth every penny, in order to fluff himself up. Yeah? 20 times he's doing this. He says, the above lesson is all the more true with the home between the spouse. A woman may suggest a fault or a shortcoming of hers, like, I think that maybe the food isn't spicy enough. In truth, she's fishing for compliments. She wants her husband to tell her that, on the contrary, dinner was excellent. You know, many times a wife is going to be around about. Yeah? Oh, sweetie, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't taste good. She knows it tastes good. But she wants you to, no. Yeah? A man usually, what does he say? Yeah, you're right. It's missing a little bit this, that. She doesn't want to hear that. She's giving you a hint. Oh, like this gardener. Tell me that it's good. Tell me how much you appreciate it. Yeah? Sometimes they'll tell us out in the face. What, you didn't see the new dress I'm wearing? You didn't see the nails, the nail color that I have? You didn't see my new shoes? Yeah? How come you never tell me that the food is good? How come you never say that I'm appreciated? They tell you outright. When they tell you outright and not in code, oh, that's really bad. You know? Why? Because we're lacking. Remember the 5-to-1 ratio? The 5-to-1 ratio? 5 compliments to 1 criticism. We don't even make 5 compliments a day. But criticism? Oh, dozens and dozens. Yeah? So they're lacking these compliments. That's the major reason why they cannot accept criticism. Why? Because it's all criticism, Yom HaYom. Yeah? How could it be? So he says, if he doesn't, she will smile to herself and think, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Meaning, he says, no, the dinner is excellent. Yeah? A husband who remembers to compliment and praise his wife is actually doing a big mitzvah. Not only is he generating love for him in her heart, but he's also generating incentives in her to please him, to benefit the entire family. And all this goodness starts from one place, the mouth. Yeah? What did he do? He says, not only did he give her a compliment, right? She's mamash kamocha. She's your wife. But now she's willing to do all that needs to be done at home for the family. All these complaints that are, I can't take it anymore. The laundry is too much. The dishes, I can't. This is all a ploy to tell us, my friend, you don't compliment me, you don't appreciate me, you take advantage of me, you think I'm a slave, you think I'm Rodriga the maidservant, you think I'm everything but your wife. I want to hear compliments from you. And once you fill her up with these compliments, dishes, smishes, kids, this, that, all that, listen, she could have dozens of kids. Why she doesn't? What was last time we said, unbelievable. I never said it. How did you give birth to these people? I probably would be dead. I'd say, you know what? Forget the epidural. Just kill me. I can't take this pain. What is this? And after that, to walk with such pain, to do your job, to feed the child, you know what I mean? To take care of the child. And we have the nerve to say, you do it? Why? I don't know how to change Pampers? Can you imagine that? A person is in misery, they're with pain, and you tell them, I don't know how to change Pampers? Please, you do it. It's your job. Can you imagine that? Can you? Yeah. You might not say that, which you probably did, like I did. But it's something that we're careless. We're mamish careless. You hear? So it's very important, just like this gardener, who's a man, by the way. He's calling to want to hear how he's doing. A woman all the more so, right? That she wants to hear that and you know what? Constantly, daily. People say, but I did it. Last week I told her. No, this week she wants to know. Now she wants to know. Tomorrow she's going to want to know. After an hour she wants to know. Yeah? Okay. We're going to the next chapter, chapter 8. He says, we can learn an invaluable lesson from matrimony, harmony, and life in general from the Meraglim, the spies that were sent out to tour the land of Israel. Interesting. God said to Moshe, send for you men to tour the land. Yeah? The 12 spies that went to see. He says, he did not expressly say, spy out the land, as it is written in Yoshua, but tour the land. Right? He said, let them tour the land. God was telling Moshe the purpose and mission of the men, which was to see the land and bring back a report. There's a fundamental difference between a tourist and a spy. Both come from one country to another, and both intend to look around and be impressed by its features. But there's a big difference. The tourist seeks out the scenic and interesting places, while the spy is looking for the country's weak spots and disadvantages. And so his country can prepare to declare war and take over. So the spy looking at the weak points. Let's see. Oh, it's broken wall here. Their army bases here. Their tourist, he's looking at all the beautiful places and all the scenic routes. God tells Moshe to tell the men to tour the land, to note its fine points, just like a tourist, so they can come back and give a very positive, enthusiastic report to the people. To be sure, it makes no difference to God if the land has weak points, since he can conquer it, whether its residents live there in a fortified wall or not. To Hashem, who cares if they're giants, if the walls are, 50 feet high, if they have, artillery. He says, go be like a tourist. Let them tour the land. Look at the good things. Yeah. Oh, wow. They have a beach over there. They have sunlight. They have trees. They have fertile land. They have these. They have that. Meanwhile, but the spies had a different agenda in mind and sought the land's vulnerable spots so as to be able to conquer it. You hear? What was their end? They died a gruesome death and caused the people to be detained in the desert for 40 years. They went, and what did they do? They looked at all the negative things. They looked at all the things that they were not supposed to.
Can I tell you how important is compliments?
Yes.
Pay attention once to the התפילה של עמידה, 18. How we starting the עמידה 3 times a day, and this text, it never changes.
Crazy.
Huh?
Crazy.
You praise Hashem 3 times a day. Hashem don't need you to praise Him.
Does he need our praising?
Does He need it? No, right? Yes. He also needs it. Why? He says, I want to feel what do you feel about me. Okay, that's why the Shulchan Aruch says if you don't make a kavanah,
On the first bracha.
you have to go back. Why? Because you stand saying it. You're not mitkaven bichlal. We can say many things also to our wives, and she's not going to buy. Why not? Baruch Omer, ועושה. You say, but we want you to do it, not only say it. So compliments, if it's important for HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
How much more so for the wife?
Nothing to talk about how much important is this. Yeah? No,
How many compliments you have to say every day?
as many as you can get.
She's not going to be like, that's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. They're going to look at it in the beginning, because we don't say it often, they're going to be like, "Rachamim John, chikusodi." You know? She's like, what are you talking about? She never heard that from you. Yeah, but then you say, no, Behemet, all this time, I just learned in the shul, we go to shul to learn. I just learned that compliments is the vital, energy of the woman. And I was lacking on that. So I want to, point out that how much I appreciate you. And like that, you say that, believe me, if you're going to say, and then you're going to stop saying, you know what she's going to say? Why you don't compliment me? You see, you're saying, yeah, it's a joke. No. If you say every day, after you stop because you got tired, you think, she knows already, she's going to be like, Rachamim John, why you stop saying compliments? Because she really needs it. You hear? She really needs it. So it's not a joke. Sometimes because of their shock, they're going to, stop, you're just saying that. But deep inside, she's like, why? I can't believe he said that to me. Shocky. I'm shocked. I can't believe he said that to me.
The flowers, I try to give
Shabbat?
every
Yeah.
Shabbat.
Yeah?
If on Shabbat, for some reason, the flowers are not there,
Yeah?
she says, I really don't need the flowers.
Ah.
But I do notice when they're not there.
Oh, you see, yeah. They're very, a lot of men tell me, she doesn't water them. She doesn't care for them. No. She cares. She knows when it's not there. She knows. Like this week, I told you I didn't buy, right? Why? Because there was already 3 bouquets there. But you know what? Deep inside, my husband didn't buy me flowers. Why? Because those flowers are different. He didn't pay attention to me. So I should have put at least 1 flower. You know what I mean? I should have. But thank God, 2 weeks ago, I bought this 1 rose, which is still standing. I was like, "Dikebonim." Doesn't. So I said to her yesterday, I said, look at that rose. All the new ones, by the way, the ones we got Thursday, are already like that. This one, Otak State. I go, look at that 1 rose. She goes, yeah, you gave it from the heart. I said, you better believe I chose it to go, It's standard. So he saved me. This one saved me. But he says, let's put this, the spice into our home. How can we apply it to our daily life? Every home has its strong and weak points. A person entering his home is like a tourist going from country to country, from land to land, of his workplace to the land of home. Before he enters, let him ask himself, like everywhere else, my home has its strong points and its weak points. How will I enter? Will I enter as a spy or will I enter as a tourist? Most of us, you know how we enter? Big time spies, professional, working for the CIA. Why is it over there like this? Why over here Lipki? Why like this? Oh, I see something spilled over here. It's a little bit like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, this, oh, that. He says, don't be a spy. Be a tourist. Be a tourist. Say, wow, what a beautiful home. Yeah, in New York, if you look down, it's garbage. Everywhere is garbage. If you look, it's like, wow, beautiful. So, we have to look at the beautiful points. Yeah? It says over here, imagine the sink is full of dishes. There is cooked meal on the stove, a pile of laundry in the bedroom waiting to be folded, children sitting calmly in the bedroom, doing their homework or playing, having already eaten dinner. One person may focus on the deficiencies and even be happy to see a full sink of dirty dishes and a pile of unfolded laundry so that he'll have something to complain about. One person may focus on the deficiencies and even be happy to see a sink full of dirty dishes and a pile of unfolded laundry so that he'll have something to complain about. Someone else will prefer to look at the upside, a cooked meal, fed children who are now busy playing, perhaps with the mother keeping them company and creating a happy atmosphere. Meaning, we could either look at the positives or the negatives. In every person that you look at, I don't think there's a perfect person there is, but in every person that you look at, on his face, you could see many positives and many negatives. Baruch Hashem, he has 2 eyes, he has a nose. Imagine, oh no, he has a pimple over here, his bald spot like this, his hair is hanging like that, yeah? So, what do you want to look at? Do you want to look at the positives or the negatives? It says over here, this is what we refer to in Avot, where Rabbi Yochanan asks his disciples, go and search for the straight path a person should follow. Rabbi Elazar says, a good eye. When Rabbi Yochanan tells him to define the path to shun, meaning to go away, Rabbi Elazar says, an evil, begrudging eye. Yeah? Good eye always sees good. A bad eye always sees bad. Yeah? There's people, everything is negative. Can you sometimes be positive? Yeah? When I had the pizza store, you already knew which people are the positive, which people are negative. They come, any day they come, Anna, let me have a salad. Put this, put that, put this. You think, excuse me, do I owe you a favor? You don't have to come here, Baby? And your pizza no good. Give me a pie. So why you coming? Why are you coming if it's no good? Every day, your pizza no good. Can I have a pie, please? Why are you coming here? I don't understand. If it's no good. You see, why? Because they have to be negative, unfortunately. Why they got this way, who knows? But we as men should know. If we are like that, look at the positives. Stop looking at the negatives. The negatives will always be there. Again, the negatives will always be there. Start looking at the positives. Once you start, and by the way, this goes to the children as well. A lot of children, they're mostly negative, mostly positive, yeah? If we're going to focus on the negatives, we're not going to give them the proper enthusiasm that they need. You understand? So he says, why did Rabbi Eliezer say, an eye that sees the good in others? Because when the eye itself is a positive one, that is, if the person is essentially a good person, he will anyway see the good in others. This is not true of a person who always sees bad, both in others and in his surroundings. His whole makeup is bad, and he sees through the lenses of his eye only that is bad around him, interpreting even the good things with a negative view. His lenses are always tinted black. You hear? Like we just said. It says a person who has a good eye, he's always looking at the good things. He sees something bad, he looks at the good thing. However, there's people, he says, the lens tinted black, always looking at negatives. So one has to assess himself. How is he when he comes home? Does he complain? If he complains, start turning it over. Start being a positive guy. So our sages taught us that a person with a benevolent view, who thinks and speaks only good, proves that he himself is a good person and immediately connects to and interprets his environment in a positive manner. One who is always complaining and criticizing shows that that's what attracts him. You hear? He's a negative person. The Talmud in Kiddushin says, whoever finds fault is himself at fault, and he fails to see what is praiseworthy in the world. Shmuel says he finds the fault he sees in himself, faults that he possesses. That's why he sees so quickly. Why? Because he's a thief. A thief knows thieves. Why? Because he's a thief. But a person who never stole, how? He thinks everybody's good. Why? He doesn't understand this. How could somebody do that? So therefore, if you're bad and you constantly, that means you're constantly bad. That's why everything you're seeing is bad. It says, Orchot Chaim says like this: whoever finds fault is himself faulty and refuses to praise the world. He is accustomed to disapprove of others with his very own fault and shortcoming, since that is what occupies his heart all the time. That is what comes out of his mouth. Yeah, he lives in the world of faults, and therefore everything he says, bad, bad. Yeah, a person is judged and recognized by his actions. How? If he sees someone who is accustomed to talking about money at all times, we can conclude that he likes money. Yeah. If he praises good food and fine wine and indulges in them, know that he is a glutton. He likes to eat. Yeah. And so in other things, this is proven from the verse, how much do I love you? Do I love your Torah? It is my conversation all day long. So if a person thinks about Torah, oh, you know, what's the halakha here? Listen, what if this happens and this and that? That means what? He has he has Torah in his mind. He says, because I so love the Torah, I talk about it all the time. And this is axiomatic. What people like, they talk about all the time. So if you're constantly negative, guess what? You like negativity. You're a negative person. And if you are positive, guess what? You like positivity. You hear? People who seek out the faults in others resemble flies. Why? Which are always drawn to unclean places. Yeah? He says if a person has open sores, flies will land on them. This is similar to one who employs slandering others. He will ignore the good points of the person and only talk about his faults. A simple man once accompanied a wise man. When they came upon a carcass in the field, the man said, "How evil smelling is this carcass?" Yeah? Said the wise man, "How white are his teeth?" Yeah, he saw that the teeth were white. He found something good. He was telling his companion, in effect, that one should not find evil when one can find good. A person should always speak in praise of everything in the world. This is how Rabbi Ben Zoma Abba Shaul of blessed memory, Dean of Porat Yosef, used to conduct himself. He would say to his students, every Jewish home has a break front or a shelf for its silver objects. Every home has a pail for garbage. A man who chooses to stand in front of the glass cupboard and gaze upon the silver kiddush cup and other valuable things and marvel at their beauty, or if he wishes, he can also choose to stand by the garbage pail and suffer from the foul smell that's exuded from it. Some spouses will focus on the other's fine attributes and feel fortunate and grateful that they joined in matrimony. Some prefer to dwell in the other's shortcomings and feel regret of the choices of the spouse. How wise is the first and how pitiful is the second. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, he says you could either be looking all day at the garbage, because we do have a garbage pail. Every house has a garbage pail. Or you could look at the beautiful sirvan that has all the silver objects. He says you choose. You want to be in the garbage all the time, or you want to be in the sirvan with the silver. Rabbi Abba Shaul himself was a perfect role model for boundless giving to his wife. When she was lying on her deathbed, she understood from the doctors whispering around her and the family's expressions that her end was near. When she asked her husband about her condition, he feared distressing her and said that the doctors were hopeful about the new medication. Yeah, he kind of, he said, yeah, there's new medication, everything's going to be good. On the following day, when he visited her, he brought her a new gold watch. Her eyes lit up as she interpreted it as a sign that she still had many years upon to live and enjoy the jewelry. His wife died a few weeks later without having been anxious about the imminent death. Her husband had done everything in his power to reassure her and make her final weeks easier. You hear? Meaning who brings a gold watch knowing that the person is going to die? He knew she was going to die, but yet bought a gold watch. So she's thinking, he knows that I'm going to live for years. Because they're not telling me the truth. They're not going to tell you, yeah, by the way, you have a couple hours to live, couple of days to live, yeah? So he wanted to show her the importance of making her feel good for those days or weeks that she's going to be left, in order to be a positive mode. Therefore, we should learn not to live in the garbage, but to live in the sirvant with the beautiful silverware and crystalware. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.